Welcome to the Picture This podcast.
Follow along with us as we talk about faith, relationships, and navigating through college life.
Okay, picture this. You could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive. Who is it and why?
So I'll go first. I would want to have dinner with Elvis Presley. I'm a really big Elvis fan, and I just love him. I think that would be a great conversation that we would have.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that and then you stole it from me. Same reasons. Like I feel like there's a lot of really cool like backstories and stuff you hear about that it'd be cool to know like a different side of it. But I would say my grandpa, who's passed now, but he was just a really funny guy with like a ton of like super like funny stories. But yeah, definitely him.
Yeah, I would probably say Willie Mays. Played baseball for a long time for
Mhm.
the Giants, and just a very underrated player that probably has a lot of funny stories and just things like that that I could probably think were really funny and relate to.
Mhm. So we do have a third person on. There's our guest, Jared. Say hi, Jared.
Hi.
So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a baseball player at Evangel, where these two go to school. I also went to high school with Xavier,
Oh yeah.
teammates on the basketball team back in the day. Um, so yeah, I've been playing baseball for as long as I can remember, and just recently met Xavier whenever I moved to his school,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. We've known each other for quite a while now.
Mm.
But so this episode is going to center a lot around sports, baseball, golf, and I'm not doing anything right now, but I have a tiny bit of experience.
Helping with track.
I will. You don't even know about that. So we'll get into that later. I kind of just wanted to open up this conversation with like, how did you get into your sport?
Hmm. I think whenever I was 4, I think I started playing t-ball. I also played football and basketball and soccer and all those other things, but baseball ended up being the one that stuck. Around when I was like 8 or 9, I went to a lot of baseball camps.
Hmm.
Actually, I remember going to an Evangel baseball camp back in the day. All the players hosted it, and I had those back when Coach Quisenberry was the coach. And something just clicked, and I really liked it, especially pitching.
Yeah,
Um, Found something that I loved doing, and that I felt like I was as good as everybody else.
nice.
So yeah,
That's cool. A little bit of like talent.
yeah.
Yeah. Got you. What about you?
So for me, I actually didn't get into golf until I was in high school, but my great grandpa was a really big golfer. He would play over at Fremont Hills all the time, and he actually opened up like the first putt putt mini golf course in Springfield. It's not there anymore. It's like a car lot now. But so that it was in my family already. And then in high school, one of my teachers was the boys golf coach, and he was like, "Hey, the girls need some more, like the girls golf team needs more people to
Yeah.
play." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, well, that might be something new." And then like COVID hit, and so that was kind of when I got into it. I got a set of used clubs, and just go in my backyard and hit like the little like styrofoam golf balls, and I would just practice every day because I had nothing to do. And so then I joined the team, and it was history from there. So
That's cool. My sport that like really has my heart was hockey, and I played that for like 6 years. So I got into that in junior high. But I played like every sport under the sun before that. So I did like Mighty Mites, baseball, uh, soccer, like all of it. And then I would only do it for like a year or 2 years, and I kind of got tired of it. But like once I got into hockey, like I thought it was a ton of fun because there was like so much room to grow, like really good competition. Like
yeah.
there was like you can measure yourself against other people and know where you want to be.
Mhm.
So that was like how I got into that.
So we all went to New Covenant,
Mhm.
and that a private school, and I just kind of want to see like what y'all's like experience was going to a private school. And I know that we all attend a private college now, but like were there differences in that? Like what was your perspective always growing up in that environment, I guess?
Hmm. That's good. Do you have anything?
I think I have a really unique perspective on it because I went to public school for so long,
Hmm.
and I only went to 3 years of private high school.
Hmm.
So going through, starting out at Ashgrove, just moving on up through that, didn't really see, a reason why I would move or anything. And then when I got to high school, I kind of started to realize that, hey, maybe that might be the move for me.
Hmm.
And then when COVID happened, that kind of gave me an opportunity
Hmm.
to move to New Covenant, and I took it. I went with it, and I don't have a whole lot to say about public school. Won't get into that right now. But I really did enjoy my time at private school a
Hmm.
lot more. I thought that the education there was a step above. I met some of the people that are most prevalent in my life now. Some of my friends that are probably going to stick with me for a while, like you,
Oh.
and yeah, just other people that have left a lasting impact on my life at private school.
That's good. Oh, you go because I'm
I
gonna.
would say I kind of had the opposite experience because I grew up private school and then I switched to public school in high school. And like I feel like in elementary, like I really loved I mean it was a blessing to be able to go and get private education, but I feel like it was in high school that like middle school, I guess I realized the relationships I had at that school weren't really that uplifting and really keep putting me on the track that I needed to be. So I felt like my switch to public school, it was a good switch, but then also going back to a private school again where I am now, it's like it's great. So
Hmm.
I don't know, just getting those two perspectives is really interesting for sure.
Yeah, so both of you have had different perspectives. I, however, only went to New Covenant my entire life. And so I will say, like, growing up, I think elementary was like really, really cool. Like those formative years, like hearing all those stories, like I feel like I have a really good basis in my faith. And then in high school, I feel like maturing years, you could pick out things that were wrong. And so like I could definitely see some hypocrisy in this person or this person. And like I didn't want to point fingers or anything, but you could see that stuff start to form. And so I don't know. It was kind of weird to notice that and still like go to a private school. But overall, I think like the environment and just the standard that was set was really, really good for me
Mhm.
too. And just having people that you could rely on was like really beneficial.
So what was it like with you for like I'm assuming you played baseball at public and private school. What was that transition like? Was it different?
Yeah, so I think I played both baseball and basketball in high
Hmm.
Okay.
school, and two very different things for me there. With basketball, played my freshman year at Ash Grove, the JV All American there, and yeah, that was some really good times for me as far as like earning my confidence, and then towards the end of that season, I got hurt, and
Hmm.
I lost the rest of that season, and then right as we were rolling out of that, we went right into baseball, and then COVID happened. 3 days away from our first game,
Oh,
and that was a big bummer. But not having that season actually ended up uh, is what gave me the opportunity to go to New Covenant.
uh-huh.
With certain rules that Missouri has in high school sports, they wouldn't have allowed me to play varsity baseball the next
When
year.
he
But
transferred,
yeah,
but
when I
yeah,
transferred. But after COVID happened, then they said that season didn't happen. So
yeah, that is really cool.
I got to go. But after moving to New Covenant, um, it was a little bit different atmosphere of sports. You know, uh, the weight room is a big one.
Mm,
Not as much of an emphasis on that. You kind of have to do it yourself. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I think playing baseball there is what's obviously propelled me to go play in college. Didn't have a whole lot of success in the win column, but I know that I got better and I helped other people get better, and so that's what I take home at the end of the day.
Hmm, that's cool.
Yeah. So like for me, I played soccer in middle school and high school, and I will say just the change of like competition when I went from private to public school was huge, especially coaching because I feel like a coach can make or break your experience with any sport that you do. And that
Yes.
was my experience. I had a really great experience with my coaches when I was at private school, but going to public school, like that coach just ruined that sport for me. And so, have you guys ever had an experience
Yeah.
like that
I
with
was
your
actually going to ask, like, what does coaching mean to you? So,
Um, I think coaching really is a big part. There's only so much that a coach does during the actual
mhm,
game, but they just have such an impact on your life outside of the games, in practice, and even outside of the sport.
mhm.
I've had coaches that I would consider like mentors to me. I've also had coaches that I would, say like, I don't want to hang around that person. Um, I think honestly, a coach for me that served as like a big mentor would be Coach Worley, our basketball coach.
Mm,
my senior year, I got really close with him, and
Mhm.
I noticed just a lot of the things that he did well that a lot of people didn't other notice.
Mhm.
A lot of other people didn't notice, and so that kind of changed the way I wanted to be as a player.
Mm.
It made me realize that a lot of working hard is for not just myself but other people, and I wanted to work
Yeah.
hard for him.
Yeah. That's cool. So you talked a little bit about like your golf coaches. Is there like something that stands out to you?
So with soccer, that was
Soccer.
like, yeah, that was a really hard transition. But yeah, all my high school and my college coach I've had for golf have been like phenomenal, and like there's such a difference looking at them and coaches I've had in the past because they're so uplifting and like encouraging. Because for me, golf is such a mental game, and I need someone there to kind of like tell me like, hey, it's not the end of the world. Like with golf, like you really just have to be like, okay, this is a new hole, like this is like a totally new thing that you get another chance. So like just having them there to remind me like and
It's
encourage me
just one
and
hole.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
No, that's good. I could go a couple ways. So in track and field, when I did in high school, I talked about it a couple episodes. My senior year, a coach that was like, she was phenomenal, like really stellar. But she passed halfway throughout the year. And so it was like, it was just like this giant like burden on us to like step up as seniors and like kind of take that role over and like show what it means to be a good coach or be a light is the wording that we used. But yeah, she was just a really positive influence on us. So we kind of like took over that role, just showing guys like what it meant to be positive, even through like hard times. But I've also had bad experiences with coaches, and like I won't name names, but they really can make you hate a sport that you love. And like I've lived through that. I even did like, and this is kind of stupid, but like Mighty Mites, like little kids playing sports. I had one coach that was horrible, and like everybody knew it. And then 2 years later, I went back and we had a phenomenal coach, and like you could tell because kids were coming out of practice, smiles on their faces,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Just like really eye-opening to what a coach can mean. And I also kind of want to go off on a tangent here. So I am hopefully going to be, it's called a provisional assistant coach for New Covenant's high school track and field team. So I'll be doing like short distance, jumpers, throwers, stuff like that. And I had to sit through hours of training videos. So Crane, our athletic director, sent me this like training thing, and it's like what it means to be a coach, this and this and this and this and this, and it's like you have to watch the video the entire way through, answer a quiz at the end. But it is also, like I said, eye-opening because it shows you every aspect of a coach affects like an athlete in every single part of their life. So I don't know, it's really cool to me, anyways.
Yeah. I kind of want to turn the conversation in another direction. So have you guys ever, I mean, I'm sure you have ever felt like unmotivated to do your sport? Like I'm sure we
Mm.
all have those days, but I kind of want to hear from you specifically, like what do you do when you feel unmotivated? Like how do you get out of that pit of just unmotivation when it comes to baseball?
Yeah, I think I because I recently just got over an injury that I had that
Yeah.
put me out over a year, and prior to that, that's kind of where I was unmotivated a lot. Now after I really am more motivated because it's like it's back, I'm back, but yeah, my first semester of college baseball was awesome, and towards the end of that, I started to be like kind of just I think it was more exhaustion because it's just every
Mm.
day with baseball. And it got to where it's like, I don't know if I'm doing good, and so then that made it really hard to get down there and get the work in. But
Hmm.
I think one way that I got over that a lot of times was like with kind of just telling myself that like every hour that I put in for work is going to make me not only a better player, but it's teaching me discipline,
Right.
teaching me a lot of other character traits that are going to make me a better person.
Yeah.
So
I that's kind of one thing I want to say is like when you come into practice or you come into your sport, think about getting better as yourself. Because so many people come in and they look at, this person's throwing that fast or this person's running this fast, stuff like that, and they compare themselves. And as soon as you don't hit that benchmark of beating that other player or competing better than them,
Yeah.
you realize like you're focusing on them when you really need to be building yourself up. So
Right.
focusing on your own personal best and setting like realistic goals is the big thing. That's what I feel makes you a better player, quote unquote, you know?
Mhm.
One thing for me, I've always been in my head, any sport it comes to, about like what other people think of me
Mm,
when I'm at practice or when I'm actually competing in a tournament. And I'm slowly learning how to get over that. But I feel like for me, a lot of my unmotivation comes from that because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go out and practice today because like what if I'm gonna shank it? Like I don't want people to see me like practicing, but I'm kind of like these people were like, we're all on the same team. Like, they don't care because I'm like, I'm not looking at my teammates, at least. I'm
yeah.
judging what they're doing. Like, I'm going to focus on myself, and focusing on myself will benefit those around me too because I'm not so concerned about,
Right.
all the issues that I'm having or whatever.
Hmm. I also kind of want to turn this conversation. You talked a little bit about injuries, and I kind of just wanted to like, I want to say this and kind of throw it out there. So I back in high school, track and field, I have always had injuries with shin splints. And so shin splints, and then I had like tendonitis, and I've had my Achilles tendons were shot. So like I couldn't run. I would go home, go to sleep, and like I couldn't go to sleep because the pain was so bad. But as soon as I got better, I wanted to go out and like really prove it. And you said how you were excited to get back out there. I was that way, but I knew if I pushed myself too hard, it was just going to be the same thing. So I kind of came into it like, let's go, but I can't. So I don't know if you've ever had like, I don't know if you've had like little injuries, but nothing like
Small, no,
crazy.
nothing crazy.
How long did you deal? Because it was Tommy John, right?
Yeah, I ended up having Tommy John surgery on my elbow, which, for those of you that don't know, is a little ligament right here in your elbow. Uh,
That's
tears.
gnarly.
Yeah, it when it tears, you have to go in and fix it. And named after a professional baseball player. But
How long have you been out?
I got hurt on December 6th of 2023.
Hmm.
I had surgery on January 15th of 2024. And I got cleared to start getting back into baseball activities on uh, August 6th
Mm,
of 2024, and slowly but surely been making my way back after physical therapy and stuff like that.
yeah. Wow. Oh man, that does suck. And
Mhm.
I also just want to say that's kind of why I want to get into physical therapy. I want to get guys like you throwing again.
Mhm.
It's really cool because it's like you can track your progress and like
Right.
I think it's neat. But wow. And that's not you've had other injuries too. I
Yeah.
remember from basketball you had concussions and
Yeah,
stuff.
I had a lot of concussions in basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just a lot of stuff with my ankle and my
Mm,
Achilles in my freshman year of high school. That kind of has bled over in a lot of areas where I just sometimes get a little more sore there than other places, but mainly my elbow's the big one.
yeah. You can feel when the weather is coming in or something now. You
I
can?
I can.
Really?
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we're gonna have a snow day on Tuesday, right? And Wednesday.
And if Dr. Rakes is watching, maybe went Thursday too, right?
Why don't we just get rid of the week? You
Yeah.
know, like everyone's gonna show up Monday and they're just gonna go home again.
Yeah.
So how have you guys seen God in your sport in every area of it? Just what have you seen God do for like your teammates, like for yourself? Like what have you noticed, like changes in yourself, God working through your sport? Just whatever you want to say about that.
I think it gives me a platform.
Hmm.
Um, I work with a lot of people in baseball that don't necessarily have the same church oriented background that I have.
Hmm.
And I think your sport it gives you that platform to talk to them about stuff like that. I've had the privilege of helping a lot of people in my time of playing club baseball, and lots of long talks with other teammates about that. Even after I got to Evangel, there's not everybody at Evangel is a Christian. That may
Hmm.
blow your mind,
But yeah.
but so having talks with them about those kinds of things are great. And I recently actually just got invited to join a team out in Southern California this
Oh, really?
summer. Uh, it's affiliated with Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
That's cool.
I don't know if that's going to be something I do this summer, but hopefully in the future. There's the Shepherds out there. They have a lot of kids camps and stuff where they implement a lot of Christian values into it, and they play baseball.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's really cool. For me, again, I can go two ways, hockey and track. So hockey, a lot of my teammates, like it was no private school like club thing. It was like guys from here and there, like everywhere. We had one guy that was Muslim, like, and sometimes it just came from like you stood out knowing like you said, like having a base. Like
Hmm.
my foundation of my faith kind of like set me apart in a way. And a lot of these guys are cursing, listening to horrible music, and like I'm not. And so I come in and they're like, "Oh, what's up?" And so it kind of just starts little conversations, like little seeds planted here and there. But for track, same thing. Private school, a lot of secular schools around. And one thing that I really kind of tried to do my senior year was like pray for guys. So before races, one guy is like, "Hey man, come over and pray with us," and he like that kind of like really started this like boulder of like, man, I really need to be doing this more. So just praying for health, for speed, for getting better and glorifying God. So
Um, for me, golf has really helped me to open up as a person
mm,
because every tournament you go to, you're meeting new people constantly. Like you play in groups of like 3 to 4 and like you don't know those people. And like I feel like God has brought me so many relationships through that sport. And like although golf is like such like an independent sport, I feel like it has helped me to also become more of a team member and like really just supporting my teammates and pouring into them the way that they pour into me. And so I love what you guys said about also just having a platform, especially being at a private college. Like I have to walk into it every time, like I'm representing my school, I'm representing Christ. And
right.
so what I say out on the course matters. How I react when I hit a bad shot, it matters because you see other people from other schools who just get so mad. Learn to control that, and it's taught me patience, and it's going back to that just being a light to others.
And Lord knows I'm not perfect. I've said some bad things, but
It
by
happens,
his
yeah.
stripes, no.
Nobody's perfect. It happens to the best of us,
Yeah.
but just trying to keep that mindset that you're doing it for the glory of God.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. I also, this is just still off topic. I wanted to ask how you manage your time because I know you guys have practice till like what, 6:30?
6,
Yeah. And
about
then
3 to 6 every day.
that's crazy to me. I
Mhm.
don't know how you guys do it. And
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to get your perspective.
Yeah, and for me, it's even a little bit more difficult than other people. I have class all day, you
Mhm.
know.
What do you study to? Your
Oh,
business, right?
yeah. No, I'm actually a journalism major.
Journalism.
Yeah.
Journalism.
Yeah. So, not only am I having class all day, weights in the morning, practice in the afternoon until the evening, but I'm also a part of the Lance, which is our school newspaper. Uh, and so, working on that, it takes up a lot of time, you know.
Hmm.
It's hard to find time to interview people because a lot of people don't want to be interviewed when they're having class, obviously,
Right.
and they don't want to stay there all night. So that takes out a lot of the time that I have
Hmm.
to do this free time because it's like can't do it during practice, can't do it during class, can't do it at night.
Oh, can you do
So
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I have to find every last minute of time that any person has at any given point and go find them and interview them.
Hmm.
So sometimes how I manage my time is probably not very good. I probably have a few assignments due tonight, but I haven't done them yet.
Oh no.
So we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And then just before we started recording, I also asked, how many hours are you taking? And you said 16.
Yeah.
And they are not easy classes, are they?
Yeah, no.
What have you got?
I have multimedia journalism with Pace. That's probably one of my hardest ones.
Mhm.
Uh, I have feature writing, which it's a lot of writing involved in that one. Then I have a reporting and storytelling class,
Mm.
more writing. Uh, and then Luke Acts with Middlestat.
Oh, okay.
That one's a fun one though, because I enjoy reading Luke and Acts.
Gotcha. No, that's cool.
And then I think I have the Cultures and Compassions.
Oh, yeah.
semester.
We have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you in the lab or no? You're in the lab? I'm in the lab. There's so much that goes into that, but it's okay. We're getting through it. Good work.
That's why you should have just gone on a trip. That's what I did.
Yeah, she's going to Branson.
Oh, yeah,
That's
very far.
great. Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. But so back to the question, how do you manage your time? For me, right now, I'm managing it pretty okay. Like I'm getting by. And it's week by week. So some weeks are like test week, study week, test week. I'm getting through it. It's okay. As soon as I start coaching, I feel like I'm gonna have to block time way better. And right now, I've got everything in like my calendar. I've got all my classes and like basketball IMs or whatever. And so I know what nights I like need to get homework done before this and that. But I just know in the future, I just have to plan accordingly and like really be smart with my time. Like I can use this time for my devotional, stuff like this, like that. Just blocking it properly.
Yeah. With golf, I will say our practices are a lot more flexible, which I really appreciate. So like if
Mhm.
there's one afternoon I can't go, I could go at like 9 in the morning when I don't have class. And so I really appreciate that. But like with tournaments, we're gone Sunday through Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, and so that can be a big chunk of time that I lose and have to catch up on, with classes and stuff. But yeah, I know we've talked about it on here before, but just kind of setting a plan beforehand and following that, like to-do lists are my best friend. So that kind of thing. But yeah, sports, it's really hard because you're being pulled every which way and
Yeah.
it's really hard to manage.
And then like just communication I've noticed is like a really big aspect of sports that some people don't realize.
Yeah.
Like being open with your coaches, like this is what's going on. Like I know you with Worley, like you guys would talk a lot about like this is what guys are wanting, this is like this, that, stuff like that. I didn't know if you had anything to add.
Yeah, no, it's just like it's one of those lessons that you learn in sports that goes on for the rest of your life. That
Hmm.
communication's key. You gotta be really out front with that.
Yeah,
Make sure that you're doing it as much as possible. Even over communicating is a good thing.
right.
For sure. I definitely appreciate, like, with my coach, I feel like I can tell him anything that's going on in my life, and he understands when my schedule's busy, and
Yeah.
it's really nice to have a really tight-knit relationship with your coaches like that,
Hmm.
so
Yeah. And I think a lot of coaches, I mean, I know some can do better, but I feel like some people don't give their coaches credit of being open like that. Like they really are open for relationships because that's what their job is too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of going like what you said. Didn't you get invited to something in Houston or around Houston for golf?
I did, and well, one of our girls is out with, she had like some broken bones in her foot, and so
You,
she has been healing from that. But basically, we didn't have like a full team to go compete in Houston this next week. And my coach texted me and he asked me if I wanted to go, like gave me the option to go. And I told him like I had to be so honest with myself and say, do I feel like I can go and compete and like be ready for this? And I said, no, because the past couple weeks have been insane in my life and in school, and I just like have had not had the time that I've needed. And so sometimes you have to say no to things, and it's okay because like my coach was like, well, we're gonna work and we will get you ready for our home tournament, which is our next tournament. And I'm like, yes, that would be awesome. And so like he's really understanding about things like that. And like I wanted to go to Texas, like, that sounds awesome, it's so warm there, I'd love to be there, but at the same time, I'm like, I just need to focus on myself right now, and, we have 2 girls that are gonna compete individually, and they're gonna do great, and so I'll be cheering them on from here.
from here, yeah, when it's cold.
Yeah.
I also kind of wanted to say, you said like it's okay to tell coaches no. I This is kind of going back to my like injury stuff, being injury prone. In track, I would stay after practice because like I wanted to get better. I wanted to prove myself when in reality I needed to like take the day off. And so that's kind of what led to that is like I would stay after and run for an extra hour or whatever. But sometimes I needed to talk to my coach and be like, hey, I don't want to run on the pavement because like that's beat down on me in the past and like I don't want to have to do that again, stuff like that. But I was scared too. I was like, no, everybody else is doing it. I have to do it, you know?
Yeah. I guess have you ever had anything like that?
No, I'm a big rule follower, and I
Yeah.
just push through everything.
Oh, right. Everything, right?
Everything, yeah.
Like I said, golf is very different from every other sport at our school. I mean, we have a really small team, and
Yeah.
we're like a little family, but things look a little different. So
Yeah. Well, thank you, Jared, for being on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, I think this is a really good conversation and just gives a little bit different perspective of what we normally talk about. So, but yeah, thank you. And thank you guys for listening. Next Thursday at 8, next episode. So
Awesome.
appreciate it.